there's another person who was like outed as a pedophile, I feel like we are moving in this like very weird direction. Whenever like a Dr. Disrespect style situation happens, like people become more and more comfortable just saying shit that I think normally most people would be embarrassed to admit outright. It also blows my mind, despite the fact that there's this House Ethics Committee report out there and people knew what was going on in it, there were still Republicans who were willing to vote to appoint this guy because Donald Trump wanted him in that position, which I think to me shows that these guys are all not only just assholes, but like they're doing a whole bunch of up shit, that they are so comfortable with a guy like Matt Gaetz knowing full well what he has done, and yet they were just like, yeah, I don't give a Donald Trump wants him in, we're gonna vote for him in, we're gonna vote for him anyway. So at the very least, they seem comfortable with a sex pest. What, just like Hunter's son? This is bad, but it's not different than Biden pardoning Hunter's allegations. Wait, what? First of all, you can't pardon allegations, dumbass. Okay, that's number one. God, the smartest Republican, I swear to God. And secondly, Hunter Biden is not an active member of Congress that was slated to be appointed as the Attorney General in charge of the Department of Justice. What the fuck are you talking about? If Hunter Biden was slated to be the Attorney General by Joe Biden, I promise you that everyone would eat Joe Biden alive. Also, Hunter Biden didn't a minor. The allegations said he did, though. What allegations? Something you saw on Twitter? What are you talking about? Hunter Biden has literally never been around someone, a sex worker that looks under the age of 35. I joked about this at the time. I was like, Hunter Biden has only been fucking photographed with the most 35-year-old looking strippers and prostitutes imaginable. They were like lasered in mathematically to the age of 35. It's just they all not a day older, not a day younger. If you think that he was like, they found photos of minors on his laptop. Yeah, they did. Of his fucking nieces, you dumbass. It's so strange, dude. Conservatives like posted family photos and a whole bunch of other random shit probably on the Hunter Biden drops. And then we're like, yeah, no, well, this guy's been actively prosecuted. This guy's best friend in Florida is literally currently serving a prison sentence for sex trafficking, including minors. The guy who would bring Matt Gaetz to these parties is currently in jail. Also another part of the Florida political scene. And you're trying to draw comparisons to a guy who was prosecuted for lying on a gun form. It is the most Republican charge on the planet. A dude who wanted to purchase a weapon and said he wasn't under the influence when doing so. Are you insane? What are you talking about? I mean, look, all jokes aside about Hunter Biden, like, yeah, throw the book at him, all right? You want to go for him, that's a serious crime. But like Republicans crying about a gun charge and tax evasion is hilarious. These are the two things that Republicans like. Republicans love tax evasion and buying guns. Hassan, you piece of shit, hypocrite, son of a bitch. Hunter photos of underage sex workers leaked online years ago with the laptop thing. You're a piece of shit. An animal to try to reclaim Hunter. You go fuck yourself. Wait, what? No. Hunter's photos with minors were not all over the internet. You got framed by a 4chan thread that you literally believed. What the are you talking about? Also, if that's the case, he should rot in jail, okay? If Hunter Biden was having sex with minors, then he 100% should go to prison. That's not what he was prosecuted for at all. Yeah, it was a picture with his brother's daughter, I'm pretty sure. Like, it was his niece, you unstable freaks. This dumbass is unironically arguing that since he didn't pay to have sex with a 17-year-old, it's all good. Giving funds to someone you're dating that they didn't ask for and that isn't charged with sex is not prostitution. There's a reason they did this to me in a Christmas Eve report, not in a courtroom of any kind. This is a testimony from one of the alleged prostitutes that you won't see in the report. Listen, Your Honor, I didn't pay to have sex with this minor and do statutory rape. I statutory raped her for free. It's not exactly an argument. It's not an argument that saves your ass. Your Honor, this minor was my girlfriend. It's insane.
Biden Justice Department did not bring charges against him, at least that we've seen. It seemed like that case was wrapped. The House Ethics Committee is a bipartisan panel, which works in secret, doesn't ever want things to be coming out publicly. They voted to release the
Bro, they hit him with a fucking freebie, okay? They were like, we got the main guy. It's fine. Matt Gaetz would be too tricky of a political football. He would be too large of a target to take down.
The story that this report tells is incredibly sad for these women. Yes, a lot of them say that they consented to it, but afterwards they had feelings of regret, feeling like they've been misled, the small amount of payments, being potentially drugged, and other things like that. It's incredibly sad. But I was talking to somebody close to Trump, and they said this is the reason why he picked Matt Gaetz for the role, because he
too likes to do these sorts of things. There is the consenting adult sex work part of the story that I don't particularly care for, just like with Donald Trump. I don't give a shit. It's like probably one of the only times where he's had consensual sex, like with Stormy Daniels, right? Obviously, it's still inherently hypocritical and kind of funny that it's a right-wing moralist party Republican guy who's the one doing that. So on that front, it is like there is obviously the element of hypocrisy that plays a role in my analysis of the situation. You know, the morality party doing the damn thing once again. However, the one aspect of this that is definitely fucked up and criminal, as a matter of fact, is the fact that he had sex with a minor. Like he's statutory rape. Do you think this report came out because this is the worst report on a congressperson, or do you think it happened because Gaetz stepped on too many feet? It's because Gaetz stepped on too many feet. 100%. Giving funds to someone you're dating that they didn't ask for is not, you know, funding them for sex. But here's some other choice parts of the ethics committee report. Message between Joel Greenberg and the 20-year-old female. Now, Joel Greenberg is the guy who's in prison. He was the pimp, basically. He was the main sex trafficker and also a homie of Matt Gaetz. Oh, yeah, he also made them fly. Not enough talk about how Matt Gaetz was making him fly Spirit Airlines. This is some shit that Austin will be on board with, bro. I swear to God. Orlando to Newark, Spirit Airlines. Girls, go book this flight. Text me the total amount and I'll Venmo you the total. It gets you home in plenty of time. Smile. So flying to Newark and out of New York. That's really fucked up. Resurface video. Matt Gaetz donated $1,000 to a teenage girl's fundraiser that showed her an old photo of them together. Look at how much you've grown.
All your achievements and success along the way. I think you got a great future ahead of you, and I'm looking forward to being a cheerleader for you. So what's next, huh? Tell me what you're always working on, a fun or interesting project. What are you working on these days?
I am still trying to complete my goal of $7,000 for the Ronald McDonald House. And right now I'm
dude, what the f is going on, dude? That's a baby, dog.
over $6,000.
You're over 6. So you have one more. You only have one more? One more? I tell you what, I'm in for it. The Friends of Matt Gaetz campaign will donate $1,000. So how about that? That'd be cool? All right, great. Well, I'll make that pledge and we'll get that to you, and that way we'll complete the goal together.
I mean, under normal circumstances, if it wasn't Matt Gaetz and like any other person, I wouldn't feel that this is as creepy. But knowing what I know about him, the very fact that he like attended parties where there were high schoolers regularly, I think it's impossible to see in a different light. Does that make sense? This is like a politician would do stuff. It's like politicians kiss babies and shit. You know what I mean? For him, though, it's a little different. Oh my God, he didn't have to do this in person and face to face. Could have had a staffer or a guardian. No, you do that for political clout. Look how good of a person I am. Look at what I've done, right? Like that sort of shit is fine.
Thank you so much.
See, look, that's us.
I remember that.
Yeah. Look at how much you've grown.
That last line is okay. We're gonna run that again.
Yeah. Look at how much you've grown.
This is so wholesome. What are you talking about? Smile. Everyone is so happy here. Smile. Yeah, everyone but us in the audience watching. So yeah, Matt Gaetz is making a fly on Spirit Airlines. If If you have a friend who's down, perhaps all four of us can meet up later. Do you party at all? Oh, that's perfect. I have a friend who introduced me to the website that I can bring. She's very pretty, great personality. I usually do $400 per meet. Does your friend use the website as well? And yes, I do like to go out sometimes. Very cool. Yes, he understands the deal. What does your friend look like? $400 is not a problem. Are you both old enough to drink? Oh, God. That's the photo he sent? Okay, no disrespect, but like that's also not a good ass photo of Matt Gaetz. But I guess it was in 2018 before he got all the surgery. My friend thinks he's really cute. Well, he's down here only for the day. We work hard and play hard. Have you ever tried Molly? Legendary crash out is coming. I'm accused of being at some party 5 years ago. Here's the gate log for that home. In a community that checks driver's license for engines. I'm not on the log. The other attendees are. But people who said they were on drugs say they remember me there. Do they also remember seeing Jimmy Hoffa there and Tupac? Wait, what the fuck? This guy's like, this is a crash out. Hello, Matt. This is your lawyer speaking. I'm advising you to please keep posting this shit. Oh my God. Dude, he's going crazy. Oh my God, this is amazing. What if he does? What if he does just start leaking crazy ass shit? I mean, look, I believe I am firmly committed to the attitude that these guys are scumbags. Every single one of them. So the more of these scumbags get exposed, the happier I am. I don't give a fuck, dude. Yeah, leak it all, baby. Let's go. Let's party. On March 19th, 2018, Mr. Gaetz texted mistakenly former senatorial candidate Roy Moore the following. I'm over here stroking my dick. Okay, stop.
The new hotshot is a friendly. Cover them.
My kids have always been with me, and a lot of y'all spread rumors and say that CPS took my kids from me. Baby, CPS has never taken my kids. Yes, I've had like 20 CPS cases. Well, it wasn't a maybe when I came out pregnant with you. Your dad just decided to get me pregnant. No, like, I didn't want to get pregnant.
You need to get off later. You need to get off soon, okay? You're saying stuff that people don't need to know.
Okay, well, I used to pull her by the hair because I was so mad at her. I'm an inmate hopper, of course I am. And guess what? If your boyfriend was in prison, I'd take him too, baby. I would. Trust me.
Let me lubricate my lips so that we can talk about all the mess that's going on.
Hello, I'm Selam, and welcome to my commentary channel, where we take serious topics and dissect them in a not-so-serious way. Today's topic:
the worst Hispanic mom influencer ever, Ash Trevino. Her 1 million CPS cases, how she purposely dates men in prison, and how she's forcing her kids to be TikTok famous.
Do you want that filler?
All right, we're going to watch Ben debunks Hamas propaganda.
So TikTok is filled with pro-Hamas people standing for the...
No, I don't like that. I can't get over it. Once a chatter told me that like Israeli... Yeah, the only reason why he excluded those people is because that is a political penalty far too great for Biden. That's what it is. Okay, I don't think that those guys should get the death penalty either, but obviously I'm not gonna fucking sit here and advocate against that right now as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's it. It's more so one of those situations where it's like I'm not gonna put my name on there. Like,
Vlad, good to see you. President Biden already had a moratorium in place for federal sentences on crimes other than terrorism and hate crimes, and he's personally opposed to the penalty, so perhaps this isn't that surprising. But those seeing their sentences commuted include Anthony Battle, sentenced to in 1997 for killing a prison guard, Brandon Council, sentenced in 2019 for killing 2 bank employees while robbing that bank, and Kaboni Savage, sentenced in 2013 for killing 12 people in connection with a drug enterprise. Most of the others were awaiting sentencing in crimes related to the killing of fellow prisoners, or witnesses to crimes, or of prison guards, or for drug-related crimes. But 3 of the 40 on death row will remain there for committing well-known crimes. They are Robert Bowers, sentenced to death last year for the mass shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Dylan Roof, sentenced in 2017 for killing 9 at the Mother Emanuel Baptist Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, convicted in 2015 for carrying out the Boston Marathon bombing that killed 3, for shooting and killing a police officer just days later. In a statement this morning about the commutations, the president says he condemns these murderers and, quote, grieves for the victims of their despicable acts. He added he's, quote, more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the penalty at the federal level. In good conscience, he adds, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted. His announcement comes just 4 weeks before President-elect Trump is set to take office, and he surely will have reaction to this throughout the day. Adriana?
Ed, thank you so much.
So there are 2 days to go until Christmas, of course, and some families are getting some shocking news. President Biden announcing the commutations of 34 of 40 federal death row inmates, those benefiting, including child killers and mass murderers like Jose Oliva Torres, who was put behind bars after murdering 2 little girls and a woman between 2005 and 2009. Torres stabbed an 8- and 9-year-old girl after sexually assaulting them in a Chicago suburb in 2005. Then 4 years later, he strangled 20-year-old naval officer Amanda Snell to death in Arlington, Virginia.
Another one is convicted murderer Thomas Stephen Sanders. He shot a 12-year-old 4 times, cut her throat in Louisiana back in 2010. He now gets life.
The Attorney General Merrick Garland recommending to President Biden all but a handful of these death sentences be commuted. Now, the exceptions include Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, Pittsburgh synagogue Robert Bowers, and the church shooter down in South Carolina, Dylan Roof, all very high profile, all with political sensitivities. But I would imagine if you are a loved one of any of the other 37, you're like, well, okay, you made these 3 exceptions for stories people have heard about. What about our justice? What about our kid? And look, I'm actually against the death penalty in cases where there's any ambiguity about guilt whatsoever. But some of these people, absolute stone-cold is proven beyond any doubt. And Joe Biden comes in the final days of the presidency and waves this wand. And I think we're going to hear from some of these families very, very unhappy about this.
I mean, if you were shocked by the 1,500 that he commuted the sentences, this should shock you to the core. So these people are going from being on death row to serving life in prison, which means that they're waking up happy today. And can you imagine being the mother of those 2 little girls who were murdered and hear that the Biden administration is going to give the care of your children a win?
Bro, you can tell Brian Kilmeade did not appreciate the other dude saying he did not like the death penalty when there's ambiguity law. Yeah, why? Why don't you even like that? Look it, give him the death penalty too, baby. Kill them all, you know? It's just like, yeah, dude, he's still going. It's not like these guys are, they're done, you know what I mean? It's not like these guys are now free, okay? They're still going to be in prison permanently, okay? Like, their life is not sweet. They're in jail for life. What a ridiculous fucking counter argument. Nah, you have to... Child can be put down. I don't know why y'all are saying right now, I'm so sorry. No. On principle, the state should not. On principle, the state should not fucking execute people. Okay? It's ridiculous. It does not fucking matter that you and I understand the severity of the crime and consider it to be the worst possible thing you can do. And it's ironic because this guy demonstrated precisely why there should be no capital punishment. At least part of the argument revolves around the ambiguity. The very fact that this idiot openly admitted that there are people on death row right now who may or may not have actually committed the crime itself is enough to recognize that maybe the state shouldn't execute people. And plenty of our comparable OECD nations don't. Like, there you go. He already admitted it. What else can I say? So when there's no ambiguity, is capital punishment okay? No, there isn't. It's not okay. But the very fact that, like, there is ambiguity also, and the very fact that, like, in cases where there's some ambiguity, it's not okay. Okay. Well, they were still charged with the death penalty. What are you talking about? The criminal justice system is executing people. And it happens all the fucking time. It's ridiculous.
And the thinking behind the scenes in excluding the 3 people, Dylan Roof and Zohar Tsarnaev.
Yeah, the only reason why he excluded those people is because that is a political penalty far too great for Biden. That's what it is. Okay, I don't think that those guys should get the death penalty either, but obviously I'm not gonna fucking sit here and advocate against that right now as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's it. It's more so one of those situations where it's like, I'm not gonna put my name on there. Like, I get it. The purpose of justice is not revenge, okay? Revenge is not justice. Justice is served when those people pay a penalty, show atonement, demonstrate atonement, and rehabilitate and can reintegrate into society. That is what the purpose of the justice system is supposed to be. In part, serve as a deterrence mechanism for people that want to maybe engage in similar crimes. But more importantly than that, it is a way to ensure that a person who has done a crime serves their time, rehabilitates, and reintegrates into society so that they never do it again. That's the entire purpose.
And the other individual that's not getting a sentence commuted is that they were the worst, so that they can't do that. You're going to look at a mother.
Why is revenge not justice? Their norm, moral objectivity. No, the purpose of the criminal justice system is not to dish out revenge, is what I'm saying. The purpose of the criminal justice system is to lower recidivism. I just described to you what it is. Revenge is not going to do those things. Okay, my question to you is the death penalty is bad, yes, but what do you think should be the highest level of punitive measures that they can pursue? Like in Norway, the max prison sentence for civilian court is 21 years, including Anders Breivik. That, in my opinion, is way too lenient. No, it's not. Because you know what happens in the Norwegian criminal justice system? I know. I will tell you. At the end of the 21-year sentence, there is another parole board meeting, and if the person is demonstrated that they are not rehabilitated, as is the case in Anders Breivik, they get resentenced and they get tacked on with another 21-year sentence. So, like, it still gets extended in that process. Okay, but the Norwegian criminal justice system is actually a fantastic example of what it looks like when you have a more rehabilitative approach to crime and punishment rather than a pro-carceral approach, because the Norwegian approach is significantly better at reducing the capacity to reoffend. And a part of that is also not having a structure where you can kill people, where the state can just kill people. Does that make sense? Sure, but I believe not everyone can be rehabilitated. Well, you are not wrong. As it stands, there is no consistent, clear-cut way of rehabilitating certain kinds of offenders. Antisocial personality disordered, serial killers and the like, oftentimes can not only evade medical examiners and showcase that they are rehabilitated, but they also are not, like, we simply do not have a 100% successful way of rehabilitating people like that, or certain types of pedophiles too, or pedophilia across the board as a you know, there is no medical rehabilitation that is 100% successful. But that should not stop people from, that should not stop the state at the very least from trying to find ways of rehabilitating people. Norway has 5 million people. Who gives a f? Why does that matter? No, castration doesn't work, chatter. What the fuck? Why do we act like systems do not grow exponentially? There are states with less than 5 million people and they still have massive fucking prisoner populations. What are you talking about? The goal, regardless of the fact that not every single person can be medically rehabilitated at this point, the goal should still be to try and rehabilitate every single person. The goal should be to have a more, if you want to have a sustainable criminal justice structure that works, chemical castration seems to work. No, it doesn't. You're just wrong. There's no evidence that chemical castration works. As a matter of fact, I can give you an example of someone who doesn't have a functioning penis that is a prolific rapist. His name is Harvey Weinstein. What are you talking about? Rape is not about sexual gratification anyway. You can derive sexual gratification from rape, but it's not from, you know, inserting your penis into someone. That's not the, it's not big, like people, in most circumstances, people don't actually fucking rape others because they're too horny and couldn't control their urges. They do it because they derive satisfaction out of enforcing their will upon someone who does not want it. It's about power. It's a power fantasy. Chemical castration doesn't change that dynamic at all. Yeah, it's about control and power. You don't stop being a disgusting freak because you're missing a penis. Exactly. How do you know is such a... Dude, I love chatters like this. How do you know? Yeah, the implication is what? That I'm a secret rapist? Is that what you're fucking trying to say? It's called reading, dumbass. What are you talking about? Like, reading any literature on the matter will help you arrive at this conclusion. Like, what are we doing? This is the Andrew Tate style, like, well, things that I cannot observe with my own two eyes are probably not real attitude. It's like, you are literally going against thousands of years of history when you do that. Okay, you're like, I don't understand. How can you research? What is research? Yeah, chatters be like, how do you know what the weather is like outside if you haven't been outside today? I know. You can never know. No one could ever know. How do I know what the weather is like in London right now? I'm not there. I'm in Los Angeles. How could I ever know? Fucking dudes with no object permanence. I swear to God.
And say that the man that killed her two daughters is not among
What do you mean?
the worst.
I responded.
How do you judge that? How do you have the moral compass?
Like,
to
literally
do that?
You just gotta wonder if he's doing any of this.
I responded too fast to your text message, it seems. Okay, watch your
37 to 40 will get life instead of death. And why would he do this? Well, he's going to go visit the Pope. And the Pope is against the death penalty. Yeah. And maybe he's trying to expunge, also campaigned on the fact how much he loves abortion. So as a Catholic, you're going to go see the Pope. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm pro-abortion, but on the good side is I'm going to save some.
Okay, but don't you think that extends to your fucking pro-life position too, dumbass? Oh, I'm pro-life, but also I think the state should murder people. Okay, well, that doesn't sound too pro-life, does it? Like, the fuck do you mean? I'm pro-life, dude. I don't think women should be able to get abortions, which is why I believe in murdering people, okay? Yeah, by the way, me talking about rape not being about sexual gratification oftentimes, or you can derive sexual gratification through other means, and it's more so about power, is like it's like rape 101, okay? Like, even if you've been in the presence of a book, I feel like you would have picked up on this information. So the fact that there are people in here that are like shocked about this as though it's a fucking newfound understanding of the world is crazy.
Some of the death penalty. Yeah. So I'll let the killers, let the fetus die, but I'll let the murderers live.
That is so true. And you know what? I do sympathize with...
What is the argument, bro? It can be flipped on you, Brian. What the fuck? It doesn't make sense. Like, this is so confusing to me. A person with 3 brain cells. Where he's like, you don't understand, actually. We should harm living, breathing, existing women by forcing them to carry pregnancies to term, even if it fucking kills them, okay? Because abortion is murder. But also, the state murdering people, that's just fine. That's really good. I'm pro-life.
People who are against the death penalty, but what Joe Biden should have done if he wanted to leave his mark on this is something that he didn't do. The Wall Street Journal says the administration didn't give priority to bills to end federal capital punishment when he was in office, didn't follow through on his campaign pledge to call on states to eliminate the death penalty. If he wanted to make this a priority during his administration, that's what he should have done. Not at the 11th hour commute these sentences and rob people of the justice that they thought they had.
Well, and the other thing is, Carly, he's presenting this in the statement that was written for him, right? The administration is presenting this as a principled stance against the death penalty. Is like, we're against capital punishment. We're not going to let the next guy come in and carry out these executions when we had a moratorium. Okay, if you're so principled, why the exceptions, right? Principles don't have exceptions. Political blowback. Politics. It's all about politics. So if you're one of the 37 other families, sorry, your politics didn't matter as much than those 3, which they flagged for political reasons, which is very different than a principled stand.
This is the Wall Street Journal article on Biden's age, and I think it's important to dive into it. So let's get to it. Now, this is a media coverage over the Wall Street Journal article that came out yesterday that dove into the way that Biden's handlers have managed his obvious mental decline.
For the last 4 years, apparently, this president, duly elected, but this president was not capable of fulfilling the duties of the office. And his staff and the White House lied about it and kept it from the American people. It's an absolute scandal.
I guess we can cover some things that I forgot to talk about last week regarding the victory of former Al-Qaeda affiliate HTS in the Syrian civil war. So there were two things that I thought were interesting about that. One was that Russia, according to Western sources, which, take them with a grain of salt, I don't really know how true or false this is, has immediately started negotiating with the Syrian government, the new Syrian government, I guess, like the supposedly moderate Islamists, to keep their military bases. I think specifically they want to keep the naval bases. The Russian deputy foreign minister actually said this, so it's not just Western sources. I think that's kind of interesting, because it seems like the rebels are basically just prepared to be cucked by everyone, including Russia. Like, they're just going to let Israel have their way with Golan Heights and possibly even more. They're just going to let Turkey do whatever they want in the north. They're going to do whatever Joey Biden and Donald Trump tells them. They seem to be equal opportunity cuckolds, honestly. That's a normal thing to say when you're a serious political analyst like I am, right? Yeah, it is. I think it kind of says a lot about Russia's reasoning for being in Syria in the first place. At this point, they don't really care about, they probably didn't care at all about whether Assad wins or lost. They just wanted, for them, this would honestly be a win, though it's obviously not worth the cost of them. Getting to keep foreign military bases against the people, while now the people who you fought against previously are in power, would be like the ultimate cuckoldry. Honestly, worse than what happened between Rock and Destiny. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Though I did also see some other articles saying that satellite imagery shows that Russia is moving equipment from its military bases. But I think it's pretty clear that the rebels don't want any sort of conflict with Russia, because they haven't attacked these bases or anything. They're not forcing them out at gunpoint or anything like that. There's two ways to look at it. One is that the rebels are basically just Western puppets and doing what the West wants, which is to just let Israel have its way with their country, to let Turkey have its way with their country. And, another way to look at it is that the West just happens to have more power in Syria. They're not particularly pro-Western, though obviously they are more pro-Western than Assad was, at least at this point in time, at least, by the end of his presidency. And they just feel like they don't want to have any trouble with anyone, so they're just giving concessions away to literally everyone, including Russia, just in the hopes of not causing any problems with anyone. I did also see another article that I wanted to at least bring up that is worth thinking about and analyzing, in that the rebels said, sorry, my S key broke again. I have to fix it. Here it is. Here's my S key. They said that they want to do neoliberal shock treatment, basically, which, is extremely, extremely predictable. Something that definitely points towards them being in bed with the West more than they're letting on. Syria's new government has told business leaders, who are business leaders, it will adopt a free market model and integrate the country into the global economy in a major shift from decades of corrupt state control. It will be a free market system based on competition. So basically you have the comprador bourgeoisie who want Syria to be opened up so they can loot the country and sell everything about it off to foreign companies. And what else is there to say about that? The biggest impediment to the free market competition in Syria were the sanctions, not the economic system, apart from the sanctions. So it's an interesting framing as well. But yay, the Islamist rebels have taken power and now they're implementing neoliberalism. That makes them good. This is crazy. They talk about Syria's economic system in this article, and they blame that for the lack of imports and exports. And and sanctions get like a single mention alongside like 20 other things, but not specifically the reason for why Syria's economy isn't open or whatever. Like they say Syria has imposed restrictions on imports and exports, blah, 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 blah. And the sanctions, which are the real reason why they can't really export or import, literally are barely even mentioned. So, yeah, I mean, Western puppets or genuinely free market neoliberalism. I'm not exactly sure about that. I haven't exactly analyzed the economics of Islamic states before to be able to draw a conclusion. I'm not really familiar with the economics of ISIS to be able to know whether this is normal or not. So I don't know, it's anyone's guess. Maybe it's just the new sort of jihad, like Milton Friedman jihad. Never seen it before. I didn't know that Milton Friedman accepted Allah, but I guess he had. Did you guys hear that I've been sued dozens upon dozens of times? This is something that I actually just learned myself a couple of days ago. I've been sued dozens upon dozens of times, and every time that I've been sued, like I mobilize like an army of, I guess like mafia goons or something. I don't know, something like that. I don't know how this is supposed to work. But I mobilize this veritable army to harass the people who are suing me into silence. I actually just learned this about myself yesterday from a series of tweets by the incredibly mentally stable cock and ball torture / children entertainer YouTuber known as Kraut. Let's check those out. And he's been like on a tear, just like spamming about me for days and days. He's been claiming that I have been like the leader of like a coordinated gang stalking harassment campaign against him for like 5 years straight, basically because I made a couple of videos debunking his videos, like the history videos on his channel. And ever since then, he has like created this insane narrative where I have been like a gang stalking harassment ringleader against him. He posted on Twitter like, I can't actually show you the original Twitter because I don't have an account. And one of the things that Elon Musk did to Twitter, because he's a fucking moron, is he made it so that you can't look at tweets unless you have an account. So here's screenshots at least. Now, one of the things that Kraut has been doing is like spamming just shit that he made up. Like he's like, this guy's been harassing me for 5 years repeatedly, and he doesn't actually provide any evidence of that, of course, because it doesn't exist. He could at least like fake a screenshot every now and again. That would be like at least try to provide fake evidence. But then he's also Kraut, right? Or Kraut, however the fuck you say it. If I'm disrespecting the German language with my pronunciation, I don't care. It deserves it. So his specialty has always been to just make unsourced claims with a British accent confidently, repeatedly. So, you know, you just have to trust me that these tweets are real. You're just going to have to trust me. I'm not going to provide you any evidence that these aren't just fake screenshots. They might be. But in the spirit of Kraut, in the spirit of sourcing my claims as well as Kraut does, I'm just going to take these as 100% true and real. Because I haven't actually seen the original tweets myself. These were just screenshotted and posted by someone else. So that's how I saw them initially. So these could be fake. These could not even be real. But in the spirit of being as rigorous as an average Kraut video, I'm going to take them as 100% true and factual with no analysis whatsoever. So, according to Kraut, he got some information from Buenos Aires about the YouTuber known as Bad Empanada, and he would like to share with you a few things I just learned. Bad Empanada is already known to lawyers in Buenos Aires. Over the course of a few years, he has doxed, harassed, sent violent threats, defamed, and sent his audience to do all of those things to over 50 people, many of whom are from Buenos Aires. So lawyers in Buenos Aires, just like lawyers in this one particular city, they know of me. Like, as a collective, they know of me. Like, I guess they have, like, a cabal or something where they, like, have secret meetings, like the stonemasons or whatever, and they speak about people, and I'm known to them. And over 50 people have tried to sue me over the course of a few years for despicable crimes like violent threats and defamation and sending my audience after them, which is very interesting given that my audience doesn't speak Spanish. However, I keep getting away with it for a simple reason. The civil litigation and court system in Argentina is broken due to decades of government mismanagement. And if you want to sue someone in the Argentine civil court, the costs and paperwork are enormous. I mean, isn't it expensive to sue someone in the most painful court in the world? Really, it's way beyond the average person's capabilities to just sue someone. So he goes on, you can spend years stuck doing paperwork and spending tons of money before even going to a single court hearing on any matter you may be litigating in the Argentine civil court system. And Bad Empanada takes advantage of that. As soon as he is served papers informing him that he's being sued. The person suing him is flooded with violent threats online. This is like deranged gang talking conspiracy theory stuff. You have to wonder why he doesn't actually provide any evidence of this ever happening. Like, where is any evidence of anyone ever suing me? Even once, let alone 50 times. It's just, I swear to God, I spoke to a lawyer. Now, this might come as a shock to you, but the chance that he actually spoke to a lawyer is slim to none for a very simple reason, in that everything that he said here, aside from doxing is not a crime, harassment, sending violent threats, defamation, those are crimes. And what he's talking about here is people filing civil lawsuits against me, like suing, not actually filing a criminal complaint. You wouldn't file a civil suit against someone for those crimes. You would file a criminal complaint. So he clearly has not been contacting a lawyer. Like, if you look at defamation law in Argentina, defamation or false allegations of a crime that give rise to public action will be punished with a crime of 3,000 pesos to 30,000 pesos. This is in the criminal code, Código Penal. This is under the civil code. So these are criminal matters. They aren't civil matters. So I think it's safe to say that given that Kraut does not know the basics of defamation in Argentina, he probably didn't actually speak to a lawyer about any of this. And then he goes on to say, as soon as he served papers informing that he's being sued, the person suing him flooded with violent threats online. Violent threats and harassment via phone calls directed at that person, their family, and their employees, which continues until the case is dropped. You have to wonder as to how he hasn't actually provided any evidence of this, right? You have to wonder, there's 50 people that have sued me, and there's not even like a single piece of paper trail to prove any of that. And somehow, like, I'm so powerful as like an independent YouTuber, like a rather niche, smallish channel. I'm so powerful that I can mobilize like hundreds or dozens of people to like do like weeks upon weeks of coordinated harassment of people who are suing me until they drop the case. Which is really interesting, because wouldn't that just be like more of a crime? Wouldn't that just get me into more trouble? But you know, he just spreads this narrative that like in Argentina there's basically no law whatsoever. There's no law. It's like the Wild West basically. You can do whatever you want, which isn't true, and certainly not true for someone who is against Milei's government. And then he continues, every person who's taken the step of actually suing Bad Empanada has so far basically been harassed and threatened into dropping the case. In summary, Bad Empanada is a foreigner who moved to a country broken by bad policies, takes advantage of those broken systems to enjoy impunity and zero consequences for any of his actions. Like, what actions? While living a good life on foreign currency earned through those awful actions. I think that's a bit of a Freudian slip there. Like, he considers my videos debunking him to the awful actions. That's what this is really about. He's making this shit up where, like, I have been sued 50 times and harassed my supposed victim into silence. All because I made one video refuting him. Not even really refuting him. The video that I made, like the Iraq War video, he's mentioned like for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes at the beginning as like one of the people who I thought was wrong about this topic. One of the people out of three total people who I was responding to. And for him, that was enough to like just set him off until the end of time. That was enough for him to like create this narrative in his head where he's basically being gang stalked by me and my dark cowl of sycophant followers who dedicate all of their time to just, I guess, stalking and harassing him. How exactly? We don't know. He doesn't actually have any evidence. As I said, he could at least like fabricate a screenshot of me talking to him or something, but he doesn't have that, does he? One of these things that people do on YouTube, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning of this segment, people on YouTube, when you refute them, when you debunk them, and they don't know how to respond, or they're just too lazy to even try to respond, one of the ways in which they will respond is just to screech about harassment, or to like talk about you in everything about you except the actual issue at hand, except the facts at hand, except the thing that you're actually talking about. And he's doing both of those, obviously. He's like, Bad Empanada making videos refuting my videos that I made as a public figure with 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. My videos that got millions of views. I swear to God, the reason why I hate him is not because I was debunking that video and don't know how to respond to it. It's because he spent 5 years harassing me. Just take my word for that, buddy. I have no evidence of it. Just take my word. He's absolutely been harassing me for 5 years. How exactly? Well, he hasn't provided any evidence of that, so the only thing that we can assume is that he considers my videos debunking him to be harassment, because those are like the few times that I've ever actually interacted with him in any way. And then it's like, this person is also very bad. Like, he's had 50 people sue him, and every single time he has mobilized an army of like drones to harass him into silence. Just some insane made-up bullshit that you have to be a complete moron to take his word on, because it would that sort of thing would obviously leave an abundance of evidence. It would be covered in the news media. There would be a ton of like judicial documentation around this, especially because in Argentina, civil lawsuit documents are public, so you would be able to just find them on the internet. So where are they? They don't exist, do they? So the guy just blatantly makes shit up and spams it, and is like, it's my word, I said it, it's true. But at the end of the day, what more can you expect from him? Because that's what he does in his videos. He says shit with no source. And then when you actually try to find the source, it turns out he plagiarized it most of the time. Honestly, the allegations that he's making against me aren't really original either. Like, he actually started out accusing me of pedophilia, if you didn't know. So what happened first is, like, after I uploaded that video refuting him on the Iraq war, Kraut actually started engaging in what he would consider harassment if it was being done to him. Obviously, because his standard for harassment is, like, people making videos about me. Now, I don't like to consider myself a victim of anything, because obviously this shit doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't bother me. It's just kind of weird and embarrassing for him more than anything. But if this happened to him, he would consider himself a victim of harassment. So after that video, he started posting immediately, like, just pictures of my face on his Twitter, repeatedly. Dozens of times he did this. Pictures of my face on Twitter, just over and over again. He just would not stop doing it. So his response to being debunked on YouTube was to just spam pictures of me on Twitter. Okay. You're just fucking weird, dude. You're just bizarre. You're just like a bizarre weirdo. So he has been doing what he would consider harassment against me for many months. And then this culminated in him posting a fake screenshot accusing me of pedophilia. And so this guy who was like framing himself as my harassment victim attempted to frame me as a pedophile to try and get people to kill me. And this was in response to someone saying, it's cropped out of the screenshot, but it was someone telling him to debate me. So his reaction to someone telling him to debate me, as in, you know, have a debate regarding the facts and the things that we disagree on, was to just accuse me of pedophilia, accuse me of child sex crimes. And this guy is framing himself as the victim of some incredible, massive harassment campaign. It's fucking absurd. The thing with this stuff, this doesn't actually affect me at all. Like, I understand. I think to most people this would affect them a lot, you know, and it's understandable. Like, being accused of pedophilia with fake bullshit that people made up about you because you consider Palestinians to be human, that's rough. But it like doesn't matter to me, because I feel like the sort of people who believe in that shit just on face value without considering, did you know that Twitter screenshots can be edited and fake? Did you know that? Did you know that, like, a Kraut saying something about you with no evidence can just be discarded out of hand? And I feel like if people don't have that basic impulse to be like, you know, maybe this person's just making this shit up, then I don't want anything to do with them, and I'm okay with it if they hate me. That just means I don't have to deal with them. That just means they'll stay away from me. Like, if that is your level of cognitive ability, of your ability to assess evidence, then you're not equipped to watch my content anyway. You're not equipped to engage with my content anyway. So filtering yourself out like that is fine by me. This thing actually began as well with Vorsh's community. They since deleted the post, unfortunately, but I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago. There is at least a video that I made about it, where like Vorsh's fans initially they made up like a fake Discord screenshot and claimed that I had been arrested like 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago, around that. Yeah, I'm streaming. Like, this post has since been deleted. I wonder why. But they made up like this fake Discord screenshot saying that I was arrested in Argentina for child porn, basically. And to back it up, they posted like a picture of like a guy who is clearly not me who is arrested. And the reason why they did this, obviously, it's in retaliation, because I would bring up the fact that Vorsh defended pedophilia and like admitted to using drawn cheese pizza. And then a year after that, it turned out that Vorsh showed his cheese pizza collection live on stream, which confirmed what I had been saying about him for a long time. But for them, like, there was this idea that if you accuse Vorsh based on actual evidence of being attracted to kids, then it's fair game for them to like falsely accuse you of being arrested for child sex crimes. And then like Zionist harassment groups, first it was the Shirion Collective who initially did it. They like found these screenshots on Google and started spamming them everywhere. And then they also made that other one that we just went over. This is the one that Kraut posted.
Kill
And
or
then
be
they started
killed.
spamming that to
I am
accuse me
ready.
of pedophilia, etc., because, I was shitting on Israel for doing fucking genocide against Palestinians. And Kraut, interestingly, is someone who has been supporting the genocide of Palestinians and attacking people who are against it ever since it has begun. So, it's not really a surprise that he's involved in this. And it's not really a surprise that someone who can't actually respond to any of the actual facts of the arguments that he was refuted on, the best that he can manage is to just make shit up. Like 50 people have tried to sue him. 50 people have tried to sue him, and all of them have been harassed into silence. And he posts fake screenshots of me, accusing me of pedophilia, and then he has the gall to complain when people Photoshop him into that exact same screenshot, fake screenshot that he posted of me. You posted a fake screenshot accusing me of pedophilia, and then you frame yourself as the victim when people retaliate against you in kind, doing the exact same thing that you did. So this guy, the thinnest skinned guy in the entire world, he literally cannot take criticism of his videos to the point that he will fabricate and elaborate gang stalking narrative. He responds to people on Twitter who don't 100% agree with him as if he thinks they're me. He thinks that basically everyone who responds to him on Twitter who doesn't agree with him is a soft puppet of me. Which honestly, I'm okay with him believing that. It's like an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, except against one single person. I'm just George Soros. It's amazing. And if someone else was doing what he's doing to me to him, he would just break. He's so fucking thin-skinned. He's a public personality who makes political videos on the internet, spreads pro-genocide propaganda on the internet. That's what he does. And people respond to him, and he's like, oh my God, I'm being victimized. He says the same thing about other people who respond to him as well, not just me. Though he's been particularly obsessed with me lately. There was Freda, and there was the Russian guy who refuted his video on Russia. He said the same sort of things about all of them. He just tries to frame it as harassing him and attacking him for no reason, when obviously we are responding to him on the merits of his arguments, of which there are none. Another thing about Kraut, before we continue, just to show you what I was saying about Shirion Collective. So this was, I use the past tense because now it doesn't really exist anymore, because the guy who made it and funded it initially was doxxed or revealed by a Guardian investigation, and it basically collapsed after that. But as you can see here, revealed the tech entrepreneur behind the pro-Israel hate network. The Guardian used public records and open source materials to identify David Linden of the Shirion Collective. David Linden, he's a pornographer who co-wrote a guidebook for OnlyFans. And after this, the group sort of collapsed, but you can still see some of the remnants of their harassment campaign against me. If you search for Bad Empanada Shirion, you get tweets from them saying, Bad Empanada, you're a convicted sex offender. And then saying, Bad Empanada is a pedo. Anyone who follows him is a pedo. He has been charged with child crimes. But most of this wasn't actually on their Twitter, because the Shirion Collective Twitter, I think it was David Linden's personal account. Not 100% on that, but it was definitely just one person. The main organism that they used was a Telegram channel where they posted their targets to targeted harassment with Twitter accounts and stuff like that. Drew Pavley was a member. Drew Pavley was a member of this Telegram group who participated in their pro-Israel harassment organization and doxing campaigns. So yeah, that's where that screenshot comes from. These guys made it. So aside from that, I just wanted to say that, someone like Kraut who just spams Twitter all the time, he just posts pictures of my face on Twitter all the time. He just invents this harassment narrative about me when I literally have not directly engaged with him. Maybe I responded to him on Twitter 2 or 3 times ever, and made videos responding to his videos. And for him, that is a 5-year-long harassment campaign. And then you look at his channel. He has not made a video in 4 fucking months. For that matter, he has not made a video longer than 30 minutes in a year and a half. So what the fuck is this guy doing with his time? I'm a YouTuber. I make videos that are way more complicated, that take way more work than his videos do. His videos are unsourced, made-up garbage that he mostly plagiarizes anyway. Your last video was 20 minutes long and you haven't made another video in 4 fucking months? This guy is just sitting at home doing nothing all day, living off Patreon income. His patrons should be pissed because they're not getting what they're paying for. $2,000 a month going to absolutely nothing while this guy just sits around. Because he's certainly not working. The videos that he makes, there's no way that these take more than a month. And that's a stretch too. 2 to 3 weeks at the most. This guy just does not work. Instead of working, he spams Twitter, complaining that people have debunked him. like a part of some sort of evil cabal that is persecuting him everywhere, like a gang stalking conspiracy theorist. And yeah, that's all there is to say about Trump, who ironically, in his ridiculous quest to make shit up, has posted actual defamation against me that I think he may have difficulty proving in court.
We got the zone. FYI, you're burning. I'm feeling good about this fight.
Turn it out!
Our squad's on scene. Scoring is really good.
Prevails among Muslims, Christians, and Jews. But any injustice imposed upon the Arabs of Palestine starting with prominent Jews and the
Take the zones, keep the zones. Like a
that's
mantra.
literally what I've been describing this entire time, how an apartheid state
Time to
laws,
hug.
no distinction between ethnic groups in the region and around the world outside of that apartheid state. On 19 February 1949, Al-Said reported that the Jews had been victims of the in recent months. He warned that unless Israel would behave itself, events might take place concerning the Iraqi Jews. Al-Said's threats had no impact at the political level on the fate of the Jews, but were widely published in the media. In 1948, the country was placed under martial law, and the penalties resulted in forced martial law Jews were then dismissed from civil service. Quotas were placed on university positions. Jewish businesses were boycotted, and Shafiq Ayers, one of the most important Jewish business owners in the country, who's a non-Zionist, was arrested and publicly hanged for allegedly selling goods to Israel. The Jewish community's general sentiment was that if a man as well connected and powerful as Ayers could be eliminated by the state, other Jews would not be protected any longer. Additionally, like most Arab states, Iraq declared collaboration with its Jews after the 1948 war, on the grounds that they might go to Israel and could strengthen that state. At the same time, increasing government pressure created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. This is all because of Zionism. This is all the creation of an ethnic state. And I'm not saying that Iraq and the other Arab states innocently should have done more to stand up for the protections of Jews, but this is inevitable.
Don't dispute it.
Like creating these racial tensions is inevitable to create this imperial state that is defined by its racial purity. However, by 1949, Jews were speaking Iraq about the rape of thousands at the time the British believed that the Zionist underground was agitating in Iraq in order to assist U.S. fundraising and to offset the bad impression caused by the Jewish anti-Syrian. The Iraqi government took in only 5,000 of approximately 700,000 Palestinians who became refugees in 1948, despite British and American efforts to persuade Iraq to do more. In January 1949, the pro-British
You're coming down to the wire.
discussed the idea of deporting Iraqis to Israel with British officials.
We're on beat.
Iraq reversed or earlier ban on Jewish scholars state that this was the result of American, British, and Israeli political pressure on Shafiq al-Assad.
No big deal.
According to Ian Black, the Iraqi government was motivated by economic considerations, chief of which was that almost all the property of departing Jews reverted to the state treasury, and also that Jews were seen as a regressive and potentially troublesome minority that the country was best rid of. Jesus Christ. So literally Israel exacerbating anti-Semitic tropes and then capitalizing on these anti-Semitic